Alright, hello everyone, and now welcome to Game 3 in this 3-game set. And I believe Infi is down 2-0 in this 3-game set. Not quite sure if it's a best of 3, best of 5, or if I'm just casting these games out of order, but we'll figure this out. Infi really just feels like he's falling apart to ZhouXiXi's strategy, and this is something that may be a metagame change. What we've been seeing is a lot of footman action early on coming in from a lot of the human players out there, and by going Panda first, even though the Panda was significantly behind in level, and it really felt like Infi was at any given time going to be able to win that game, ZhouXiXi was able to just slowly chip away at his opponent and then take the victory. So far, ZhouXiXi, we may see your traditional opening here, Altar of Elders with a Demon Hunter. Meanwhile, back over here, we are going to see an Archmage most likely come out of that Altar of Kings. No, Mountain King this time around. And if it is a Mountain King versus a Demon Hunter, no, it's a Warden. Alright, so wrong in two directions. It is not going to be a Demon Hunter or an Archmage. It is going to be the Warden versus the Mountain King. And I am curious as to what exactly that Mountain King is looking to do. Mountain King is generally a popular hero, say, on Echo Isle. But here on Terranistan, may not be nearly as common. So far, the peasants are just chopping away at the trees, getting additional lumber, gonna start training up some units. Meanwhile, down over here we have a scout farm being placed down by Infi, and Infi is gonna have very good knowledge of his opponent shortly. Meanwhile, Archmage down over here, Ancient of War down over here, as the lightning shield on the archer, very nicely done. He purposely grouped all of these units together here. The archer now backing off, making sure that the warden is going to be able to get all of the extra damage or deal the additional damage there. You can see that the rogue is now taking a lot of damage as well, and now finally the renegade wizard still taking that damage over time as that lightning shield does come to an end. Renegade wizard gonna fall, circlet of nobility onto that warden, as we're seeing the Mountain King pretty much off to the north doing a very similar creep pattern. Mountain King did use a Stormbolt though, since he doesn't have anything to tank a lot of damage, and he leaves the Tome of Agility behind. Alright, I don't understand why high-level players do leave tomes. I would believe an extra point of agility is helpful, but maybe these guys are either lazy to pick them up, lazy to read, or doesn't think it makes that much of a difference. So far though, the Mountain King sitting at level 2 with +9 attack, very high attack. He could go after that Wisp pretty easily. There it goes. And now that Mountain King with almost 700 or more than 750 hit points, goes after the warden. There is the Stormbolt. I was simply waiting for that. And are we going to get a surround here? Yes, we do. And the warden, gets blink. Perfectly timed, and perhaps didn't get Fan of Knives, didn't train up that second skill, got blink at just the right moment, and that's one of those instances where the warden is better than the demon hunter, as we're now going to see the militia try and creep out off over here. There is a troll shadow priest. Are we going to pick up a troll berserker? The warden is there as well. The warden may try to come in with the Fan of Knives. Is it going to try to steal any items there or steal any units there? There's a Tome of Intelligence, does pick that up, and there goes the rest of those units there. So far, the militia now trying to back off. It looks like they're going to be able to do exactly that, and now perhaps try to go after an archer there. There goes another unit, the Potion of Invulnerability, as the warden is now in a little bit of trouble. Is he going to be able to make its way out though, as the Mountain King does have enough for a Stormbolt. He does have the, the Shadow Strike on him, so he is slightly slower. There is the Stormbolt, and the Stormbolt goes onto the archer, surprisingly, just to get the extra bit of damage. Alright, that extra bit of damage now gives the Mountain King level 3, and level 3 now on the Mountain King, and another Stormbolt is within the realm of possibility. Meanwhile, we do see a scout farm down over here as well, and with these farms in position, he pretty much knows what's happening all the time. Alright, more peasants now making their way down. We can see another scout or another mercenary farm being built down over here, as we are going into an Arcane Vault. Arcane Vault going to be very important to try to speed build, as you want to be able to regenerate all of the hit points on all of these units. Mountain King looking pretty strong right now. Are we going to see a Blood Mage as the second hero? We are not going into a Town Hall yet. In fact, we don't even have enough gold for an additional base down over here. So I'm wondering what exactly the positioning or the plan is. Also, that is a trap if I ever saw one. 3 Huntresses ready to go with the fourth one, the 4 Huntresses ready to go. I've actually seen sometimes where players will purposely have 4 or 3 Huntresses shadow melted and then move the fourth one into position to try and trap units. However, that is just a lot of units to trap right there, especially on a Mountain King who does have a potion of lesser or full invulnerability. 15 seconds. A 15-second invulnerability is enough to just destroy a Huntress or 2 rather easily. All right, off over here, you're going to see the footmen are just out of position. What is going on here? And they are just running past, and oh, this is just a beautiful trap waiting to happen. Troll Berserker gets taken down in a moment, and there is the Stormbolt. However, don't try to surround a Warden who has Blink. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever as the Shadow Strike. Now, once again, another long-distance Stormbolt. And is it on cooldown? It might actually be on cooldown, but with Dust of Appear, no. With the reveal, Scroll of Town Portal now being used. There's the Shadow Strike onto that Mountain King. Mountain King now being forced to back off. All the units do back away here. And we are going to perhaps see selling of the Scroll of Town Portal to pick up perhaps a Scroll of Regeneration. Yes, a Scroll of Regeneration and a Clarity Potion. There we go. That Mountain King looking strong again. But without the Scroll of Town Portal, that is going to put him into a little bit of a bind. Now, what is he doing next? He is selling up the rest of his items. Meanwhile, down over here, the Ancient of War is going to, in fact, absorb a bunch of that damage. Huntress now getting into position to deal extra damage to the Brigands and also the Renegade Wizard. Tome of Experience being left behind. And now, ZhouXiXi, I believe, is very much caught up into this game now with a level 3 Warden. All right, the Mountain King may try to come in with a Stormbolt here. And, oh, are we going to be seeing that? Yes, there is that Stormbolt onto that Warden. The Warden does also have a Sobi mask, and this is just overcommitment. He is going way too deep into this fight here. You're going to see footmen fall rather easily. Shadow Strike onto more units, and the Warden is just a better hero for picking off units. She's able to escape with Blink. She's able to pick off units with Shadow Strike. It's so much easier, so much stronger. And now this Mountain King, who is not nearly as fast, is in a bit of trouble. Where is that Warden? The Warden goes back home, drops a Circuit of Nobility, gonna heal back up, and now perhaps pick up another what is she doing, leaving that Circuit of Nobility behind? I'm not 100% sure, as the Huntresses are now gathering together. There's an Ancient of War. Still no Tree of Life being constructed, though, as militia now being brought in from the main base. All right, Mountain King gonna rinse and repeat the same exact strategy again. The Claws of Attack +6 are gone from that Mountain King. And what is happening here, as Infi is still sitting on only tier 1. So far, Ogre Mauler being used pretty effectively there. He's going to run by, and now what is happening next? The footmen may try to pick up extra units, as there are the Huntresses and the units. There's a Shadow Strike going after the Troll Shadow Priest again. And that is just some easy pickings. Constantly a Goblin Zeppelin in the air causing so many problems. And that Zeppelin is just so small on the minimap. It is difficult to spot. Down over here, we're going to see more footmen now coming into play. Huntresses are down over here as well. The Zeppelin can drop off units. There's a Shadow Strike. There is a Stormbolt dodged by the Zeppelin. Beautifully done. And now that Mountain King is in trouble. Infi is just getting outclassed in this game right now. The Huntresses very strong, able to continue to chase. The only difference right now is that ZhouXiXi has not yet set up an expansion. If he is in fact set up an expansion, he would be miles ahead of his opponent. That is the only thing that is going well for Infi, is the fact that he does have an extra base. But all that extra base is doing is being spent on mercenaries that are giving this Warden extra experience. Now we are looking at Tree of Eternity upgrades. Dual Ancients of Lore now being constructed as well. We are going to see perhaps Druids of the Talon, or Druids of the Talon perhaps, as we are now going to be going into a drop. All right, there's the attack. What's going on here? The Berserker getting in some free and easy shots. There is that Tree of Life. and now it is going to be rooting itself there. Huntresses are now ready to go. This is bad for ZhouXiXi. Should just cancel the Huntress inside for some extra damage, and now let's come in for the engagement. That Warden now taking a bit of damage. What's going to be happening? Alright, is she going to blink away? No, not going to blink away, as the Goblin Shredder now joins in on the fight. Goblin Shredder is extremely powerful, dealing 34 to 61 damage. It is essentially a knight at this point in time, dealing so much damage. It is a level 4 mechanical unit, as the Warden wants to get in there to deal damage, but is really scared of the 225 Stormbolt damage Stormbolt of that Mountain King. Alright, there's the attack there. Where is that Warden? The Warden is still backed off, and down goes the Zeppelin, as we now see 3 very dizzy units. Alright, there goes the Warden. The Warden timed that attack pretty well, but cannot avoid the bash there. As you can see, the Zeppelin has picked up more units there, and a long distance Stormbolt does deal the damage. The Warden now tries to slip through. It looks like she will be able to do exactly that, and now buys a potion of healing. There's the potion of healing now. And now, is it going to make its way over? Yes, there is the Shadow Strike. There is the Stormbolt. However, the Mountain King is by his lonesome self, except for a potion of invulnerability, which is enough, not enough mana on that Mountain King, though, which is a definite problem. How is that Mountain King going to be able to get away? That is the question now, as the Troll Shadow Priest, Scroll of Healing, is it going to, yes, pick up in the Zeppelin? Yes, does pick up in the Zeppelin right there. Dizziness is now coming to an end on the rest of those Huntresses, as the Ancient of War is going to be absorbing a bit of damage. So far, the Warden needs a way to try to heal back up all of these units. Are we getting bears? Yes, we are, and they are at adept training, meaning rejuvenation is in the books. Alright, so far the Warden still looking to clear out this creep camp, sitting at level 4, and ZhouXiXi is making a very, very strong statement. If he can 3-0 Infi here on and taking games off of Echo Isle and also Terran his stand, maps which have generally been very, very Terran, or not Terran favored, human flavored for quite some time. Here we go. Zeppelin off to the north, going to go ahead and drop and try to take down this entangled gold mine. There goes the Warden. There is a Shadow Strike onto a Berserker. The Berserker quickly taken out. The Warden now going to continue this engagement here. The Footman currently with Defend, not really doing much, though, as another Footman now jumps back in. All right, Mountain King comes out to engage. Going to go after another unit. Footmen are now coming in to engage as well. Not quite sure why they wanted to engage in this fight. So far, I guess fighting from behind here, except for the fact that ZhouXiXi actually has more range units. That actually gives them a bit of an advantage. However, the units are now starting to slowly fall. The Mountain King still going after, perhaps going to go after a Huntress. There it goes. Now trying to run away, and will be able to do exactly that. Alright, where was the Warden all that time? That Warden is sitting at level 4, now running back off to the north, getting very close to level 5, and we do see a wall of guard towers here, which will most likely just get taken out. The Warden is already there, ready to take down these peasants. The peasants just trying to do their job, and that Warden apparently doesn't like peasants doing their job at all. So far, there is that peasant now trying to run around. It is going to perhaps buy a little bit of time. It's going to wake up the creeps. No, it is not. And now the Warden's going to get some free and easy kills onto these guard towers. All right, that guard tower down to 127 hit points. There's a roar for no apparent reason, as the bears are going to go ahead and fall down, or bears are going to go ahead and take down these scout towers as well. So far, the Zeppelin now continuing to go after all these units here. Gonna clear this out. Mountain King sitting at level 4, not that close to level 5, and Infi now looks looks okay at this point, but it really feels like ZhouXiXi still has the upper hand. 60 supply compared to 42. Upgrading the castle while already at Tree of Ages. Both players are sitting on 2 bases. And we are now still looking at the Archmage being trained up as the backup hero. That's just not altogether that useful. Perhaps Blizzard would be useful if it wasn't for the fact that we are most likely going to be seeing a lot of Dryads. Alright, Scroll of Town Portal now heading back home. Staff of Teleportation heading off over here as the Glaive Throwers are attempting to take down the Arcane Vault. A very, very high priority, low hit point building, as they start to slowly pick apart some of these key buildings as well. Also, You can actually attack ground. Oh, I believe that's actually the piercing damage to hit through to the building behind it. You can see that the Arcane Tower is taking a bit of damage there. And now, what is this? The Mountain King realizes how bad of a situation this is going to be. Mortar teams are all together there. A lot of damage being dealt. The Troll Shadow Priest is going to get taken down. No, is able to hide behind enemy lines there as a Stormbolt does hit the Warden very, very far away. And now we are still looking at damage of those glaives just being thrown down. All right, that Arcane Tower looks like it should fall at any moment now, but it is just not falling. A third glaive finally comes in as we see all the units are just holding position. The glaives just throwing all of that damage into the mix as the bears are now trying to take down that Arcane Tower. So far, both of them are fighting a lot. No, the Huntress somehow escapes with only 3 hit points, goes back in. And that is such a low hit point Huntress that it is dead now, as we're still looking at this rather strong and crazy fight. Mortar teams come in. It looks as though a Huntress may get taken down here. Water Elemental trying to come in as well, but that's not going to work. All these units really just need to back off. The bears need to go back into Druid form, re-get some mana, and if they're able to re-get some mana, perhaps stick around and do a really, really strong fight. All right, what's happening here? Glaive Throwers now with 1-0 upgrades heading back. You can see the Paladin, the third hero, the trifecta of the human army, Archmage, Mountain King, Paladin, not necessarily in that order, but very, very strong, as we're now also building up another Arcane Vault to replace the one that was destroyed moments ago. So far, though, we are looking at the bears trying to make their way in down off over here. Are they going to be able to deal enough damage? They are being rejuvenated, and they are going to perhaps transform at the last moment. This looks like a rather strong push. There is a Phantom Knives. Don't know how much damage or what level of Phantom Knives that was, as the blink does pull that Warden all the way back. All right, still more damage to be thrown. Very, very long range, the same range as well, as we're looking to see whether or not, yes, a Wisp on auto repair should be able to keep track of all this. There are some fairy dragons in play, but also some flying machines to try and counter them. Infi needs to figure out how to stop all of this, and he does have a very decent army, especially with those mortar teams. The mortar teams are going to slow down the glaive throwers and also destroy the dryads and the huntresses. The problem is that we are now mainly consisting of bears, as a wisp is now trying to heal back up. Oh, there is a bit of damage, and there you have it. The spellbreakers coming in, bears now coming in for the engagement, and here's the attack. A crazy amount of damage, anti-magic potion onto the warden, as the warden now looking extremely strong here, and the warden can just try and Phantom Knives again. If it does get off another Phantom Knives, that is a whole bunch of dead units all of a sudden, as yes, the Phantom Knives on the Warden right into the mortar team line did a tremendous amount of damage. All right, the bears are now trying to follow this up. It looks as though the bears are just charging on in and not caring about anything at all. Meanwhile, the Warden is off to the north, not really worrying about much of anything either. The Warden can easily just fight up against this one Mountain King, and the Warden, I don't really think that the Mountain King's thinking about what he's doing. Staff of Teleportation now trying to head back off over here. Oh, the Water Elemental disappears, so the Mountain King is unable to teleport. That was a tragic mistake there, and that really just changes things up so far. What's happening next? Bear or units all just trying to run away. All the units are now back off to the top. The fairy dragons are right out on top of the base here. Mountain King finally teleports back in, as we now see an Avatar of Vengeance, and that is going to be GG, folks. ZhouXiXi with an Avatar of Vengeance actually pressing inside a base, and that means that there is going to be a lot of dead corpses inside this base for that Avatar of Vengeance to crank out Spirit of Vengeances. We're going to see another Spirit of Vengeance. Nope. There goes the bear, or there goes the bear taking down the mortar team. So far, all of this is still fighting off over here, but I don't think it really matters, as the Avatar is just absolutely wrecking this base right now, almost pretty much by herself. ZhouXiXi looks like she's going to get the victory, or the Avatar of Vengeance. And ZhouXiXi looks like it's going to be the GG there. And yes, that is the game. ZhouXiXi taking down Infi in 3 straight games. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.